go talk to that archmage. Supposedly, he has an idea. Mad Miralix? Can't resist that. This must be an archmage.
Greetings.
Please, I'm trying to read and do not pretend that you know how to. This must be a gnome.
Greetings.
This eccentric gnome grins widely as you enter his store. His quick eyes scan your equipment as though he already began the process of weighing what he wants to offer and how much you can afford. Welcome, welcome. I'm Melric Ruby Ripper, sometimes called the Mad. Though truth be told, the only thing I'm mad about is striking a good deal. Ha ha ha! Would you mind if I ask some questions? Ask. I've always said a great deal begins with small talk. Do you know where I can find an archmage? An archmage, you say? Why? You're in luck. Tenchi is home to no fewer than half a dozen. The most well-known, some say most powerful, is Old Flondermouth, Firefingers. Thunderal. He lives in the Grand Tower in the north of the city. Okay. Any other interesting places in Dentia? Haha. You mean aside from Mad Merrick's? But of course. House of Moon's largest temple to saloon in all the realms. Okay. Agron Livery sells all manners of mounts. And the inlet is run by a Minotaur. A Minotaur. Okay. Well, you don't seem eccentric to me. Let me see what you have for sale. Oh, wonderful. I stuck all items from the mundane to the wondrous, both new and used, with the exception of weapons and armor. Such barbaric implements do not interest me. No sirree. As for the rest, I'm the very best. Okay, let's carry on. Now, I believe that is the residence of Firefingers. Now, let's also take a look at our map. The Beacon Inn. Oh. Well.
Find something to do with yourself while I attend to this important matter.
Oh. I discovered something. What was it that I discovered? Besides the well. Oh. I spot something shiny buried under a huge stinking pile of dung. What are they feeding these rocks? Search the dung pile. Elbow deep and sticky brown shells. You'll find anything except a really bad smell. Dig deeper. Success lasts. The malodorous efforts are rewarded when you firmly grasp the shiny handle of a tiny dagger. That was nasty. Cheswick's dagger? +1 dagger? Now we're gonna have to get a room here at this inn. 'Cause that was nasty. Yes, hi, my good
Yes?
innkeeper.
Do make it
I
quick!
just don't understand it. That milk quass should never defeated me. Not in 100 years. I'm the Giddler. Damn it. What an absolute fiasco. I'll never live this down. Why are you upset again? That fop called us had temerity to challenge me to a duel for the leadership of the resistance army. And actually won. Makes no sense. My swordsmanship is not legendary around these parts. Until recently, Bale didn't even know how to hold a sword. Okay, what can you tell me about the resistance army? The Dentia Resistance Army is dedicated to ending the threat of the Shadowvale Scourge. We are few in number and even less impressive in martial prowess. But one thing we don't lack is refinement. The noble sons and daughters of Dentias shall not be cowed. Okay, so what do you know about this Bale Coldus? Bah! He's always been a milksop. Too nervous to talk to girls. Too nervous even to yell and chastise his servants in the correct manner. Recently, however, he's changed. Ever since he found that sword, he's a new man. Wonder how much it would cost to hire this Driss Jordan fell to tutor me. I should really tell Daddy to look into it. Okay, well. With your daddy, I need a room.
Hi there.
Interesting sore. Hearken to me, my brave fellows. No more shall the elite of Dentia cower and ignore the presence of the Netherese interlopers in our midst. The Shadowvale and their cowardly magical ways must be expunged. Jolly well said, jolly well said indeed. Damn it, Bale, you're the man. The man, I say. That I am. The right man at the right hour. Finish your drinks, comrades. The time has come to show these Shadowvale the implacable edge of Dentia steel. Time has come to... What do you want? Shadowvale are elite magic users. You're a rabble. Well, I think that unless you wish to help end the Shadowvale Scourge, you should mind your own business. What have the Shadowvale actually done? What have they done? Well, they showed up out of nowhere, just to camp to the ruins without permission. I don't know what they want, and I don't care. They will all die. They will all... Oh! For a moment, the expression on Bale's face changes to one of utter terror. Bounces twitch as though he's fighting himself. With great effort, he whispers, "My room upstairs. Check the bookcase, please, before it's too late." Instantly, Bale's expression changes back to one of overwhelming confidence. You notice his eyes flicking to the sword he keeps waving around. With your arcane training, you quickly identify as being strong and magical in nature. What's going on with that sword you keep waving around? Mind your own business. Keep bothering me, I'll be waving it before you all. So. Alright, so. crap again. Room upstairs. Okay, so where's this room? Ithra, the worm of the peaks, called the worm of the peaks, is a male great worm black dragon that is near the steps of Thar and Mount Gliffering in the vast. In fear of his older sister, Embershale, Lithra spent centuries of life hiding on other continents. During this time, he sired 16 sons and daughters. Ember's death caused a magical backlash in the weed that likely notified her brother of her demise. Okay. In the year of writhing darkness, Lithra killed with claw and fang the Orc Olok, the Over-King of Castor, plunging the Orcish kingdom into civil war. Cult of Dragons, named the Worm Smoke Cell, awoke Lithric in 1369 DR. They attempted to persuade him to undergo the transforming to a Dracolich and gave him offerings. Lithric only found the efforts stirred from his rest, acted as he pleased, crossing Thar between Glister and Flan. When a whole caravan of Glister disappearing agents poured on the previously unknown Black Dragon raids, Zentarians feared that the cult of the dragon was responsible. Its current whereabouts are unknown. Okay. City of Dentia. Dentia is ruled by a Watchlord who was elected by local nobles. Current Watchlord is Golden Black Turret. True power is the hands of the old families. Addition, 18 clans of the Swift Hands. There's a few others. It's not a strong city, but it does have some effective defenses. Okay, riders Dentia ride Ross as their mounts. Ross are medium-sized musk. Oxen are very sure-footed. Alright. Come on. So where's his room upstairs? My room upstairs. Check the bookcase, please, before it's too late. How do I get upstairs? Okay, let's try this door. I think this just goes outside. Maybe there's an outside entrance. My room's upstairs. Oh, there it is. How do we get there? always get. This is weird. Maybe back here. Alright. Well, hopefully it's not too late. Think here. Shut here. Here. Okay. Bale Collis's journal. This journal belongs to the young nobleman Bale Collis. Counts his search for the legendary bright sword of Dentia. Reading the journal, you learn that Bale discovered the blade, which he refers to as Bemora, several 10 days past. First, he was delighted with the sentient weapon guiding his arm. He was able to vanquish his rival Gideon in a duel that won him the admiration of many young noblewomen. Bemora's irritation at the development was the first sign of what would follow. The bright sword's ego proved too much for Bale to handle. In addition to being bloodthirsty and impulsive, Bale claims that Bemora is slowly taking control of his thoughts and deeds. In particular, the sentient weapon has become obsessed with slaying the NWNEE search party that is excavating nearby ruins. Bale fears that if he cannot rid himself of the sword soon, he will inadvertently lead himself and his comrades to an unfortunate end. Try as he might, however, he cannot part with the weapon. He's now a slave to Bemora's will, a fact of which none fellow nobles are aware. By all the gods, the cult of the bright sword. Dentia was once home to a strange cult that venerated a magic sword. While the history of the cult of the bright sword is all but forgotten, there are still followers who believe this bright sword is said to fly through the under passage of the city at night, attacking those who have somehow offended it. The weapon is said particularly attacks those who carry magical items of great value and or power. The believers further swear that the sword has spies who are always on the lookout for new items brought in by strangers and adventurers. Bright Sword's wheel is called Bemora, and it was forged long ago by a wizard who sought to defeat the rising kingdom Methero by creating a series of wizard-slaying swords. Elminster of Shadowdale is not sure if the sword harbors an evil entity, such as an outer planes creature or the soul of a wizard, or if there is some darker power behind it. Either way, the bright sword flies through the underbelly of Dentia, and its few but loyal followers revere its ancient powers. Gotta have that sword then. Indeed, I have to have that sword. I've gotta have that ancient sword. Now, fortunately, I have a whip of disarming. So, worst comes to worst, we can always disarm him. Okay, so let's go confront him. Surprised he didn't attack us, considering all the ancient powerful artifacts that we are currently carrying. Not so much me, but that sword that... Is this the back entrance? Time to hand over the sword.
Hi there.
Found your diary, being controlled by Bemoras. Excuse me? I will not stand here and listen to these accusations. This time it's come to move on, Kanamars. Fetch your weapons, comrades. We shall bring death itself. Children of Baal will have nothing on us. Right you are, bro. Let me just find Oathkeeper, my trusty longsword. Here, found it. Hey, that's my sword. Worldbreaker. It is? Oh, sorry. It look alike. Mine has some kind of enchantment. If I really swing it hard. Makes a buzzing sound like a fly. It's pretty awesome. Think that's awesome? I just bought this wand of magic missiles down at the market. Shaver won't know what him. That's the spirit, comrades. Let's go. You're out of my way. Can't let you do this. You'll get them all killed. Just gonna stand in my way? Fine. Just have to cut you down. The edge of my mighty sword.
You won't get away!
Okay, I guess we're gonna have to use this disarming. I really don't want to kill him. You little fool. Okay, so let's see what happened. Did he die? Maybe I disarmed him. Give me that sword.
Well, you messed that up, didn't you? He was a good host, nice and easy to control, and now I'll have to find some other fools and partners to help me rid the ruins of the cursed NWNEEs.
Who are you, and what are you?
Who am I? Only Bemora, also known as the Bright Sword, infamous bringer of doom upon mages and their foul ilk. What am I? An instrument of death, a lover of good wit, and a pretty useful hat stand in a pinch.
I could use a weapon like you.
If I didn't know better, I might think you were flirting with me. What makes you think I would consent to letting you touch my hilt?
I'm hunting a Nethery's blade, known as Dominion.
Dominion? The lady's blade? Oh, if there's one thing I hate more than the Netherese, it's the Netherese sword. I'll follow you to the far reaches of the realms if it means I get to test myself against that foul instrument. After all, it's what I was made for.
Okay, well then let's go.
I'll float alongside you for now, and if you want to wield me, just ask.
Wonderful.
Hey,
So many wizards to kill, so little time. Well, fine. Plenty of time when your sentient sword magically protected from rust. But they're like weeds. You kill one, and 4 more pop up. Okay. Oh, wow. Let's see. Tell me a bit more about yourself, Bemora. I'm a talking sword. There really isn't much more to it than that. I was forged sometime in ancient Netheril. I forgot by whom. 2,000 years and a long time for anyone except a dragon, a god, or a demon lord. Of course, time would have flown by much quicker if I'd had the fortune to find my way into the hands of a series of hungry heroes instead of spending centuries locked away in moldy tombs. That's where the whole cult of the bright sword comes in. Don't you think there's more to life than just killing? That's easy for you to say, with your corporeal body privileges. Look at me. What else am I going to be? Not a weapon. A battle spread? A butter spreader? A luxury back scratcher? Who's like to live dangerously? I was forged to kill it by destiny. And why create a cult to worship you? Being worshipped it feels amazing. No wonder the gods are always starting wars to win more followers. Mainly, though, I formed a cult so that I would be never forgotten. Can you imagine being sentient, immortal, and lost in a dungeon for eternity? The idea terrifies me. Okay, well, and why do you hate wizards so much? Killing wizards is sort of my purpose, and killing Netheries and Netheries wizards, now that's the most fun a girl can have by herself. I figure my creator must have been an enemy of Nether. He or she made me as the ultimate weapon against the Netheries. Okay. Alright, that's it for now. Okay, so...
hey,
Oh, I'm sorry. Keep falling. Trying to get this treasure. And I wasn't trying to kill him. Doggone it. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay, well, watch out for the cutthroat lady there. Hey, Sharon.
Greetings.
It's on a flight alongside you, Bluff. Thank you.
Hi.
Okay, I like Keithia. Okay, nothing new. All right. Well, you guys can always. Bemora should get along just fine with you guys. She's a woman just like y'all.
Do for you.
Oh. No. Look at the size of her. That's a nasty blade. Oh, I feel sorry for our enemies. Okay, well, we are going to go up and see another mage. And try to behave yourself, Bemora. Because we don't want to kill this mage. We just want to talk. You know what? I better tell her don't attack until I
Hey!
do. Yeah. One change your tactics. Defend me and don't attack until I do. Defense is the best form of attack. If that's right, no, that can't be right. Okay, anyway. Alright, so there you go. Yeah. Don't want you running off killing people. What are you doing with that spear in your hand? Hold on a second. What are you doing with that spear? I knew you would take up that spear. How are you with this spear? This is, yeah, no, I can't have you wielding that spear. Sorry, I'm going to have to borrow your spear. I gave you a perfectly good. Yeah, I gotta borrow this, dear. I can't have you. You're gonna hurt yourself with that spear. I gave you a perfectly good sword. Now, Firefinger, please ignore the very nasty Bemora.
Greetings.
Ah, this grandfatherly old wizard smiles at you genially. Despite his wrinkles and frail, stooped appearance, there's an aura of power around this mage that is unmistakable. Greetings, young one. I am Follow the Math Thondal, more commonly known as Firefingers. To whom do I owe the pleasure to visit my tower? I'm Evilar Naturefo. Pleasure to meet you. Do you know, I could swear that I've heard your name before, young man. If so, you must be an adventurer of some renown. How may I help you? Well, I need information on the Archmage Magnus. The old man's pale blue eyes widen slightly as you speak the name of the one-eyed mage for the first time since you met him. He suddenly looks every bit of his many years. Oh boy. Yes, he is a problem. Where did you learn that name? It's been many years since I've heard it spoken. Well, him, my companions, and, well, besides our new, Bemora, have had problems, to say the least, with Magnus. And he has a sword called Dominion that he plans to wreak havoc on the Moonsea. The old man listens intently as you recount what you know of the wizard. When you're done, he snaps his fingers and a small ball of fire winks into existence in his palm. He stands into the flames, remembering events many years past. Magnus came to me shortly before the time of trouble. He was still a young man then, but the hardships he had suffered had prematurely aged him. He carried terrible scars, both physical and emotional. Despite this, his talent for the art was immense. I took him on as my apprentice, though it wasn't long before his powers rivaled my own. I could see there was good in him, but there was also anger, so much anger, that left him vulnerable to influences of planar beings with which he often consorted. What do you mean? Magnus developed an affinity for conjuration and summoning magic through sheer willpower alone. He would bind demons that even I could not control. It became a constant source of tension between us. The study of one demon in particular consumed him, the one known as the Prince of Undeath, whose name I shall not utter. He also became obsessed with a set of ancient artifacts he referred to as the Blades of Netheril. The Prince of Undeath? I've met someone here by who's the bone mage whose master is known as Auravath the Undying. Is that the same person? The demon prince to whom I refer holds many titles. He's second only to Demogorgon among the legions of the 666 planes of the abyss. I prefer to speak of him no more, as to even utter his true name invites his scrutiny. So what do you know about the Blades of Netheril? Very little, I'm afraid. As I said, Magnus became obsessed with locating them. He believed he had identified one such artifact in the glacier. A more inhospitable environment is hard to imagine, but it did not deter Magnus from planning to recover the weapon. And what happened next? Ultimately, we no longer saw eye to eye, and in truth, he had already, or would very soon, surpass me in the art. One day, he simply told me he was leaving. There was no malice. He thanked me and left. I never heard from him since. Okay, do you have any idea where I may find him? From what you have told me, appears he's trying to rally the humanoids of Thar. Orcs and other bestial creatures abound in the wild place, but perhaps of most note are rumors of a recent resurgence of the ogres of Kirathar. Certainly, there has been a greater number of ogre excursions into Dentia territory than any time in recent history. Magnus was fascinated by ogre mages of Thar, who made their home in Kir Dursu's stronghold. According to ancient research and records, Kir Darsu is far north of here. If Magnus is indeed trying to rally the resurgent ogres to his cause, Melevant to the north could be his first target. If you wish to venture into Thar, I would recommend you head east from the City of Swords. Okay, let's talk about something else. She was, what may I do for you? Okay. Alright. Certainly, other wizards may reject the simple pleasures of conversation with a stranger. I have always believed that the truest magic occurs when a stranger leaves as a friend. Okay. Well, tell me about Dentia. Dentia may not be the largest city on the Moonsea, nor the most powerful in terms of military economy, but I'm proud to say the most tolerant. Folks of all races can live in peace here. Okay. What are important locations? Dentia's Temple, a saloon. Okay, the Beacon Inn. Right, there's the gnome Mad Murdoch. I'm sure you've learned all this before. Okay, anything noteworthy other than I know about the Netherese, the Shadowbears in the ruins. Apart from the increasing frequency of ogre invasions of Thar, right nearby the ruins, as you said, is Shadowbear, deeply troubling to the shades of Onrock so close up to our city. Right. Now, who rules the city? Watchlord Gulda Blackturn is elected by the local nobility to rule the city. His power is mostly symbolic. The other noble families wield the true influence, assisted by me and my wizardly colleagues. Okay, let's talk about something else. Do you have any items that are wizardly for sale? I do not typically trade my magical paraphernalia for gold, but I sense you have a greater purpose than a typical adventurer. Perhaps you can put these rare items to good use. Okay. Let's see what you have. Mistress belt. I have one of those. Might and warding. Boots of striding. Braces of armor. I believe this is the belt. Oh, that's a different belt from Mr. I don't think we're wand of paralyzation. Oh. Oh, we'll take that. Yes, sir. Yes, we will. Okay. Scroll of freedom. Self only. To free someone from the imprisonment spell, must cast the spell at the spot where he or she's entombed. What the hell is that? From the imprisonment spell. Well, am I using these boots of reflex? I don't think I'm really using these things. I hate selling because they're so... In the dark night of the rich and powerful protect themselves from the predation of the Shalties by constructing elaborate traps throughout their home. Counter this, the Shalties created these boots, quick in reaction. Right, saving throws. We'll take this. I'm not sure what we're going to use it for, but... Okay. Incredible. The powers that I've aligned. Okay. Pleasure meeting you, Archmage. So we know where we are headed now. We met and fought Nightshade and Malgren. Right. That's Melvon. Okay, so in order to track down that gentleman, we will need to go to Melvon. Tyrantus.
Greetings to you.
Keep your nose clean around the city, friend. Of course. Now.
Ah, home sweet home. The prodigal daughter returns.
Excuse me? What's the matter with that? Oh, House of the Moon. What does that have to do with anything? Let's put our sword up. Oh. Did I just drop my longsword? Bloody heck. Okay. What does she mean by that? Home sweet home. What do you mean by that, Bemora?
Hey,
So many wizards to kill, so little time. Well, fine. Plenty of time when your ancient sword, sentient sword, magically protected from rust. Right, okay. Let's talk to the high priest.
You are welcome here.
Oh, thank you. Well met, and welcome to the House of the Moon. Well, we visited a temple of the half moon. I'm Serene Amaratha, High Priestess of the temple. There is no greater center of worship of the Moon Maiden in all the realms. I only wish Janthara and Bethora were here to witness this great congregation. Janathra and Barathon? They are my sisters. Assistants. Sisters and powerful maids both. They went to Thar to investigate rumors of the increased activity around the Kurathora's stronghold. That was some time ago. I haven't heard from them since. What do you know of Kuratharsu? Very little, other than it is an ancient citadel that has long since and been home to ogre mages who once ruled the great grey land of Thar. Have you heard of a wizard named Magnus? Magnus? I'm afraid not. If you have heard of this mage, if anyone has, it'll be old Firefingers who taught Janathra and Bearmata. He dwells in town, okay? Let's talk about something else. Okay, let's see what goods you have. Of course, as large temple of Saloon in the realms, we have a large supply of items. Interesting. Hence the name the Moonsea. She has a cloak of fortification. Look how much that is. Okay, well. Let's see, boots is trying. And you have some potions of heal. My, you have many potions of heal. Here, let me give you this. And I will take those potions. Oh, you can I'm going to leave the Black Lord's crest in your possession. It's an ancient evil weapon. And I'm tired of carrying it. Okay. Farewell. Had no cracks at the door. Okay. Let's go ahead.
Something I can do for you?
This MOONSEA, you can buy it here. Oh, what a beautiful temple. It's quite lovely. Let's go stand on this hill here. And take a look at the temple. Very lovely indeed.